This is the most dramatic parrot beak transformation that I've done to date. Paco's owner inherited him from a relative who passed away. When the appointment was made, I was told that he had not been handled for many, many years and that he was quite aggressive. He came out of the carrier all by himself, approached me, and allowed me to pet him. Then he gave me a signal I wasn't expecting. He was asking me to pick him up. Paco's owner had told me that decades ago he suffered a broken leg that was never repaired. And the wing on that side is also visibly damaged. Even though this is his dominant leg, like we have a dominant hand, he has a lot of trouble putting his weight onto this leg. And he's quite unsteady, so I make sure I move very slowly and carefully and allow him to catch his balance. I stay very low to the ground. You can see here that his left foot doesn't really get any normal nail wear. The nails on that foot are drastically longer. That's because he's not putting enough weight on it to wear them down. I'm taking the length off of his bottom beak first. This will help me see the natural position of the upper beak a little bit better. As always, I'm doing my best to make sure this experience is comfortable and stress-free for him. According to the owner, this bird has previously had a lot of trauma associated with beak and nail trims. They were being done forcefully and with a lot of restraint. But today, it's just me, Paco, and the towel. And the only thing holding him right now is the towel. I'm removing bits of the top beak a little bit at a time. Although it would be really satisfying to take it all off at once, it's important to do so in steps. Parrot beaks do have a blood supply inside, similar to dog's nails, and Paco's beak has a weak spot in the middle. We don't want that to splinter. With that extra length gone, it's time for some extra head scratches, and I'm going to preen him a little bit just to reiterate that we are friends. Preening is very calming for birds. Next, I'm going to start shaping the beak with my rotary sander, which has fine sandpaper attached. I'm using a very light touch. We're taking off only small amounts at a time. Paco is comfortable, unstressed, and we have all the time in the world. Beak growth like this is extremely abnormal. Healthy beaks wear down naturally with use. Normal use includes eating, playing, climbing, and polishing. If birds don't have access to the correct items to wear their beak on, it could overgrow. However, this beak issue is much more likely due to a liver problem. For many decades, this parrot has only been eating a diet of seed. For many species, seed can be included as a healthy portion of the diet. The exact amount of seed and type that's appropriate depends on the bird's species and its individual caloric needs, and this can be a very complicated and confusing subject. I feed my own personal birds a natural pellet along with fruits, vegetables, and occasionally appropriate seeds and nuts. Parrots that are getting a lot of seed and people foods that are very high in fats often develop conditions like this due to liver failure. The only way to diagnose liver failure for sure is to have blood work done by an avian vet. Whenever a parrot comes to me for a beak service displaying these type of signs, I always recommend that they go to their vet for blood work as soon as possible. If caught early enough on and treated with appropriate medicine and diet changes, the parrot's life can be extended for many more years. However, if left untreated, their days can be unfortunately numbered. Paco's new owner said that he's most likely in his 40s, and with good care, he could easily live another 20 to 30 years. With the beak sanded into a reasonable shape, I'm going to give him a little bit more time preening. Normally, preening is something that a parrot's companion would do for them. They can't always reach the head and neck feathers on their own. If they don't have a bird friend to do it for them, it's up to the human flockmate. And I'm guessing that Paco hasn't been preened for a very long time. He's really enjoying this. New pin feathers can be itchy and uncomfortable. Next, I'm going to tackle these nails. As usual, I'm taking off the excess length with my sharp, sterilized clippers. This back toenail is actually starting to curl under. Nails like this can cause sores and infections, and Paco's already got enough to deal with. It can be difficult to tell where to trim on black nails, but I've had a lot of experience. Now I'm using the rotary sanding tool to take off a little more length and refine the shape of the nails. We don't want them to be too short, and we don't want them to be too blunt either. He still needs to be able to use them to grip his perches. His new owner is aware already that he's a fall risk, and we don't want him to hurt himself anymore. The nails on the right foot weren't particularly long except for one, but I am going to reshape them. And finally, it's time for a massage. I'm using a little bit of organic, fair trade coconut oil to massage the beak. Not only does it help replenish some moisture to this very dry and cracked beak, coconut oil also has beneficial amino acids and vitamins. Studies have shown that it's also naturally antimicrobial and antifungal. Some people's birds even like to eat it, and that's perfectly fine, as long as you're using the type that's food grade. After I'm done massaging the beak, it's time to nourish those dry little feet. Older parrots, just like older people, can develop dry, callous skin over time. Bathing and adding humidity can help slough off the old dry skin, and the coconut oil helps soften it too. However, if it goes beyond dry skin and develops into thick crusts, there could be a parasite such as leg mites involved. And those also need to be diagnosed and treated by a vet. Normally, I only preen the head and neck areas on a parrot. But Paco is one of those rare cases where mobility is definitely an issue for him. There were a couple of very old pin feathers that he was definitely not able to reach on his own due to mobility issues. So I took care of that for him. Paco and I got to hang out for a short period of time, but I don't think I'll easily forget him. I let his new owner know that if he ever needs a safe place to land, I'm here for him. For now, his beak and nails are back on the right track, and it's up to his owner to get him to the vet to make sure there isn't anything else going on. I'm sure you noticed that his beak is still being held open. This is because his beak has been overgrown for so long, the muscles and ligaments are not in normal position anymore. His owner said that his beak has never actually been trimmed back this far, and this was still a very conservative trim. But now his body finally has the chance to try to heal itself a little bit. And hopefully with time, it'll go back to a normal position with regular use. Good luck, Paco. I hope I see you again.